Hello everybody and welcome to the new year. So 2022 has been a big year for everybody with us, and I think for me it's also been really good because I've started collecting a lot of manga, been reading a lot of it, and I wanted to celebrate the year by talking about my favorites, or ranking all the series I've read. I've read a lot of series in total, so this video will be basically me ranking every manga I've read. I'll explain the rules as the video goes on, but yeah, in this video you'll see me ranking the manga from my least favorite to favorite, and yeah, I've already recorded it so you'll see how it goes, but yeah, take it away manga list from before this recording. So yeah, hope you guys had a great new year. I'll talk more about how making this channel has affected me at the end of the video. But yeah, take it away with my list. Alright, hello. So I don't know if you've seen if there's an intro to this that I've done post-production or whatever, but hold on, there you go. So hello and welcome to the video where I'll be ranking all my mangas that I've read. You'll see the format I'll be doing later, but first I'll explain the general rules. I'm only including manga that I've read enough to give a ranking to, so this means like either a series I've completed, like if the series is done, then I have to at least complete the series, or if the series is still ongoing, I have to read enough to at least be caught up, or in some exception, caught up with the English release at the time that I read it. You'll see the exception. You'll see that specific one later. But yeah, number 2, the score I give a series doesn't affect my favorites that much. You'll see what I mean. I can give something a really high score, but it's really down low in my rankings, or it can be really low ranked but still have a high score. It's all based on what I feel like is my favorite. It's not really score related. Anyways, number 3, the anime. Okay, I think I spelled it wrong, but the anime isn't really counted. But my opinion on the anime can affect how I feel about the manga. So basically, the anime isn't in the rankings. However, my feelings towards the anime can also affect my feelings towards the manga. So that's basically what I mean. Also, number 4, as much as you guys definitely think I have a bad opinion, trust me, I show my friend and he thinks I have the worst opinion on any human being. If you think I have a bad opinion according to you, please respect it and I'll respect yours. Let's try to be friendly. Also, let me know what your favorite mangas and animes are. I actually want to know. So yeah, let's begin with the F tier. These are mangas I either find really bad or boring. Generally, it's ranked 5 out of 10 or below. Sometimes it's higher, as I said earlier. Score doesn't really matter, but like that's just a general score that I give. You'll see everything below a 5 first, and then you'll see the 5 and some 6s, I guess. So let's begin. Number 61, Dokumushi. Yeah, this one is just generally bad. I won't go into detail about everyone, or else this video would be probably multiple hours long, because I have 81 of these to talk about. But yeah, Dokumushi is my least favorite. If you've seen Joey the Anime Man's video, you'll know why I actually decided to read it, so yeah. This one is probably my biggest copy of manga. The Hunters Guild Red Hood. So this was a manga that, while it was publishing, I was really hyped for, and I was like, this is going to become the next big Jump title. And that is basically me just copying because it got axed. That's why it's so low ranked, since, didn't have a proper conclusion. Or at least a good conclusion, I mean. Number 79, Build King, nothing much to say. It's just generally bad. Then, the first JOJO'S manga that I have on this list, The Enigma of AMIGARA's Fault. Yeah, I just didn't like it. It was a part of Kyo's deluxe edition, I think. I just didn't like it. You'll see that I am not a big fan of Junji Ito as we go down the list. Then we got Pokemon Horizons. I actually used to own the volumes of these, but I gave it to my friend, who's the same one who roasted my opinions. Then we got Future Diaries. This one is actually the one I got roasted for the most. It was like, why did you put this and another one above certain somethings I'll get to later? But honestly, this series just pissed me off when I was reading it. But he just tried to explain it like, oh, it makes sense. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. His choices are so bad. So no, it does not make sense. And then yeah, my biggest take ever. I'm not a big fan of JoJo Part 1. You'll see other JoJo parts, but something you'll also notice a lot frequently is I'm not a big fan of JoJo. I don't think I have a single JoJo part above C rank, maybe one in B, I'm not sure. But yeah. Then we got 74, which is Elusive Samurai. This is the only manga I've ever dropped. I find this so fucking boring. I tried to get through it, I couldn't. I think I read like a few volumes of this and I got bored of it really quickly. Then I got another one that I got shit for, Blame. I just got confused about the whole series. Like, sure, the whole minimum dialogue is a good thing because, you know, I'm dyslexic, but I was just confused with like 90% of it, or what the fuck was going on. Like, one time they're there, one time they're there. The lack of dialogue sometimes, you know, is a good thing because, you know, it's easier for people to read. But in Blame's case, it's not for me at all. Anyways, another Junji Ito, Dissolving Classroom. Yeah, I was just not a big fan of it. The only good thing I could say about the manga itself is that when you touch, like, you know, the corpses you can see, it had like this really cool like feeling to it. But yeah, I just didn't enjoy it, honestly. And this one is mostly on this list for not having a proper conclusion. This one has only one volume, and the ending basically is a cliffhanger. If you have read it, then you know what the cliffhanger is. I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah, this one just disappointed me. It's not as bad, but the reason why it's ranked low is that it doesn't really have a proper conclusion yet. It would probably be a D rank if it had a proper conclusion. Then I got Uzumaki, Tome, and Gyo. Yeah, I ranked these about the same level. I'm not a big fan of them. That's all I gotta say. I'm not a big fan of Jujutsu. I think Gyo is my favorite one out of these, but that's by a small little margin. Also, I think, especially Studio Ufotable really wants to forget about this series because, you know, they did an adaptation of this. So yeah. But I'm not a big fan of Junji Ito, and this is probably the only Junji Ito manga that you'll see for the rest of the list. Then we got Alien Arena. This one is another copium manga of mine. I really wanted this to be like next to Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that, but yeah, I got axed, sadly. Then we got Parasite. I just find this plain, honestly. I read it while I was at work, you know, breaks during work, and I just find it really just plain. Nothing more to that. Then we got Devil ECSTASY. Yeah, this one is just weird. It's basically about, you know, these succubuses who don't really have a vagina. So they basically trick men into having sexual intercourse, and once they basically nut, the men basically get consumed by the succubuses. Yeah, the whole manga is a weird thing. Then 64 and 63 are basically the same series. It's can you just die, my darling, and I love you, so I'll kill you. These are genuinely just weird series. I find some enjoyment out of them. The characters are well written, but just it feels really edgy. But, you know, in a kind of a good way. It was kind of funny at times, and the only reason I even started reading it was because of Twitter. Yeah, that's cesspool. But yeah, I actually did really enjoy it, even though it's an F tier. It was, you know, stupid, and, you know, the sequel series kind of did flop. Oops, I kind of went a bit ahead. But, you know, the sequel series was kind of bad. But, you know, what can you do? At least I read it. So, next one is Daemons of the Shadow Realms. I didn't really enjoy this. I read like 6 chapters of this. I'm not completely caught up with it anymore, but I read like 6 chapters of it, and I just find it fine. It's made by the same person who did Full Metal Alchemist. I think over time it'll become a lot more better, and I think once the anime adaptation comes out, I'll see more people talking about it. Then I'll maybe try to catch up on it again. But until now, I just find it boring. This is one is also about to be a really controversial opinion, but I did not enjoy Fury Dragon that much. Every time this one was being published, I just found it boring. I just started reading it because I wanted to, experience at least the new series as it was getting published from the beginning. And Fury Dragon happened to be the series that I started reading, and I just wasn't a big fan of it. It's slice of life, sure. I do enjoy my slice of lives there and there, but the premise didn't really hook me as of now. I'm planning on continue reading it as soon as, the creator is no longer in hiatus. And maybe my opinion will change. We'll have to see. But anyways, as that's the case, and I think this is my last in F tier, Pokemon Electric Tails Pikachu. This one basically felt like, eating, a steak. It has good sauce and stuff like that, but like the meat is just bland. Like it has, elements and fan service for Pokemon fans of the anime, and I think the alternative ending was kind of cool. But it doesn't really have that much substance to it. It just feels like an abridged version of the anime, and I'm not a big fan of it. Anyways, on to the D tier. My throat is getting sore. D tier is basically manga I find boring with some good stuff about it. Like it's boring, but I find some good qualities to it, I guess. I'll probably explain that as it goes. Generally 6 out of 10 or lower, but you'll see some 5 out of 10s here, I'll promise you. And yeah. Let's begin. Number 59, Oyanke. This one was just a little fun series. I wish it got more chapters. It's basically about this delinquent landlady who's like the granddaughter of the actual landlady, and she takes over the business for a year while her grandma is on break, and she's introduced to this otaku guy, and they kind of form this bond. I kind of hope this gets a movie one day, or some sort of adaptation. Anyways, number 58 is My Hero Academia. My Hero Academia I just find plainly boring, but it has its good qualities. The art style of the manga eventually develops to become really cool, and I guess some of the side characters and some of the world building that eventually happens is good. I find most of the boring parts, the stuff that focuses on school and most of UA characters. I find a lot of the characters outside of UA more better, and I've only read up to like 331, so I'm not fully caught up with the series yet. But I found it okay. It's nothing special. Next is Demon Slayer. Yeah, this is probably was going to be another controversial one. I actually own all of the manga now, physically, and I still think it's just, the story is really plain. The only thing that really, I would say the only good thing is the anime adaptation, the animation and the OST, I guess, is really good as well. But that's basically the anime's doing. And I guess also I can't really hate any of the characters. That's also another thing. Like with My Hero Academia, I'm not a big fan of any of the main characters, but like the main characters of Demon Slayer are enjoyable to read. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, Nezuko to some extent, they're all enjoyable to read. And I am caught up, so I know the manga stuff. The story is really boring, but some of the characters and the anime is also really good. So I guess that's why it's in D tier compared to F. Then we got GINKA and GLUNA. I recently stopped reading this. I read like the first 9-10 chapters or something. It's a fun series. It's basically like wizards in an ice world. That's the best I can describe it. And yeah, I just find it okay, I guess. It has its flaws. I'm not interested in the story or the characters yet. But you know, it's still building up, so I'll probably catch up on it eventually whenever I feel like it. Next is gonna be Tokyo Demon Bride story. This one is a slice of life. It's basically Ruri Dragon with the yokai. That's basically how I can describe it. Basically, the guy that you see behind the demon girl is someone who promised to marry the demon girl when they were younger, and later in life he had forgotten, and she was like, "Hey, you're not my husband now." You know, it's a rom-com, I guess. Next is gonna be Battle Tendency. Yeah, I know I'll get shit for this. I just didn't enjoy it reading it. That's about it. Next is gonna be MARDOCK Scrambles. It was an okay series. I've watched the movies first, then I read the manga, so... But it did kind of make me understand a bit about poker, so I guess that's a positive for me. Then we got JOJO Stone Ocean. Yeah, when I finished reading this, I just didn't like the ending. I think a lot of people agree with me on that statement. I just didn't enjoy the ending. And that's like 3 out of the 4 JOJO parts that I've read are in the year below. So that's probably a bad thing. So anyways, okay, that wasn't the last one. So next up is Doubt. It's a horror series, and you know, the ending kind of did stick with me, but I guess that's about it. It's okay, I guess. I haven't read any of the sequel series yet, such as Judge. I've yet to read it. Then finally, for the last on D tier is Records of Ragnarok. I used to love this series, but then the anime adaptation happened, and it kind of ruined my opinion on it. I think right now it's on Nikola Tesla versus Beelzebub in the manga. Hopefully, you know, the fighting order isn't a big spoiler for a lot of you guys, but yeah, it's currently on the 8th round, I think. I do follow the subreddit, and apparently the subreddit is obsessed with Hitler now, so, you know, Kanye and Records of Ragnarok have a lot in common now, so that's fun, I guess. Anyways, on to C tier. Basically, manga I find good, but also has its negative qualities to it. So yeah, it's basically 7 out of 10 or below or higher, depending. Sorry, sore throat. Hey. Talking a lot is boring. You know, destroying my throat. 49 is Choujin X. It's you know, in an interesting series. I haven't caught up on it in a while. I read like the first 20 or something chapters. 20 or 15, I think. I don't know. It's a fun series. It's made by the same guy who did Tokyo Ghoul, and I enjoyed it. Number 49 is Kaiju number 8. I did enjoy reading it. I just don't find a motive to read it more. I'm not a big tokusatsu fan. I guess that's the main reason. My friend who keeps roasting my opinions is still pretty mad at me for not catching up. I mean, he's the biggest tokusatsu nerd that you know. Well, calling him a nerd, well, yeah, he is kind of a nerd, so haha. Take that, my boy. Anyways, next up is Tokyo Ghoul. I have yet to read but I'll do it eventually, whenever I feel like it. Number 46 is TOMO-CHAN is a Girl. This one is getting an anime adaptation the upcoming season. It's a really fun series, and according to my anime list, it has not my anime list, the anime list. According to analyst, it has more entries. It has more chapters than Naruto, so it's because each page counts as a chapter. So it's technically like what, 53 chapters in total or something. I don't know. It's a fun series, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it. Anyways, 45 is Blue Lock. I read up until the Neon Egotistic arc, which is the current arc. I'm not a big fan of the current arc, but you know, everything before that is really good. That's all I gotta say. 44 is Dress Up Darling. It's a, you know, it's a horny, wholesome series. You know, you'll find fun in it. If you watch the anime, then you'll probably like the manga, I guess. Number 43 is Nagatoro. I find the manga a lot more better. I tried to watch the anime. I just can't with the voice acting. I guess that's about my only really big complaint about the Nagatoro franchise. I'm not a big fan of the anime. this is gonna be the last time you still see a JoJo entry, which is Steel Ball Run at 42. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm not a big fan of JoJo, and that'll probably get me a big tonight. I'll probably read JoJo'S eventually, along with part 3, 4, and 5, because I've watched the animes to 3, 4, and 5 in 1 and 2, and I watched a bit of the part 6 anime. But generally, I just want to read the series, and I'll also probably read JoJo'S once I've caught up on all 8 series. Anyways, number 41 is Tokyo Revengers. This one has probably one of the worst endings in recent manga history. Not the worst manga ending overall, but in more recent history, I guess. I would say everything up until the last 3 arcs were really good, in my opinion. It was, because everything had consequences to their actions. So I would say, if you're an anime only up until season 3, I would recommend watching it. Because, I think season 3 is going to cover the arc after the Christmas stuff. And that's like the final good arc, I would say. And then the 3 last arcs were just generally bad. Number 40 is Vagabond. The reason why Vagabond is so low compared to a lot of this other seinen I've read is because I was kind of forced into reading Vagabond. So basically, there's that period where one of my friends were like, "Hey dude, you should read Vagabond, come on." And then, I was doing it, and then, he kind of pressured me to finish it, and I kept on reading. I tried to read other stuff, and I talked about it, and he was like, no, don't read that, read Vagabond. And I did, and I caught up, and I felt nothing. Vagabond, I just didn't feel anything for Vagabond. And I guess it's because I was forced into reading it. There's another series that you'll probably also see that has a similar story to it, but a lot more depressing. And yeah. Anyways, next is going to be Tokyo Underworld. This one is a more newer series. It's on Jump Plus, and I really enjoyed it, honestly. I'm still reading it, and I'm kind of excited. It's kind of a death game in a way, where you have to basically survive basically Tokyo's hell, basically. And it features a lot of school students for some reason, so that's fun. Anyways, number 38 is The Dark Doctor Iruku. I haven't read this in a bit. Similar story to Tokyo, to the Tokyo Bride and GLUNA series. I kind of stopped reading it more recently because I just wanted to stop reading some series, and I just decided this one was enough to stop. So I haven't really read much since recent, but it's basically about this mortal doctor who can cure anything, and also has, I guess, a partner, I think, that he gets eventually. So yeah. And number 37 is MARRIAGETOXIN. This is basically, I've seen a lot of people say it's Spy Family, but I would say it's kind of like Spy Family, but the guy is trying to figure out who he's gonna marry, so his lesbian sister doesn't have to go with a guy. It's a pretty fun series, and the woman on the left is basically trying to help him find a woman, because she's a marriage counselor. Anyways, we made it to Beach here, which is a series I found really good, but not amazing. And this is probably also gonna be my most controversial part of the whole thing yet. Number 36 is gonna be Look Back. It's a fun short story with 200 pages. It's made by Tatsuki Fujimoto. It's fun. Number 45 is also not the Tatsuki Fujimoto series, Fire Punch. Yeah, it's really more darker than Chainsaw Man, so I'll give it that at least. Number 34 is Sakamoto Days. I've only read the 2 first volumes of it, but that's because I haven't really had much time to read it. Those first 2 volumes made me really love it, and my opinion might change after I've caught up. I also recently got volume 3 and 4, so I'll start reading it soon. I'll probably start reading it during the new year. I'll see. Anyways, number 33 is CHOBITS. It's a fun little shoujo. I think it's shoujo. Probably. It's, fun. It also tackles the relationships between humans and robots. That's about it. Yeah. KUBO Won't Let Me Be Invisible. I've caught up on this. It's, wholesome. It's getting an anime this season, or this upcoming season, so get excited for that. I would recommend it. It's a Jump title, Jump Plus title. So yeah. Number 31 is Hunter x Hunter. Yeah, the reason why Hunter x Hunter is ranked so low is because I just find it okay. There's nothing special about Hunter x Hunter. I caught up on the manga and the anime. I just find it okay. Then there's HITOMI-CHAN, that Shies with Strangers. This one is another horny, wholesome series. I wish this one is getting an anime adaptation eventually, but time will have to tell. Number 29 is My Clueless First Friend. This one is an interesting series. The only massive negative I have for it is that if you want to read this officially, it's on the manga app that was made by Square Enix. So yeah, that's probably why a lot of people haven't heard of this. I just randomly found it and I've read it. I found a site where you can read it illegally, but I won't say which one it is. But I really do enjoy the series. It's fun, wholesome. But two kindergartners, one who has, who looks like an emo, gets bullied for looking like an emo, and another kid who's like clueless, an airhead, basically, like everything that these kids are basically bullying her for. He's like, whoa, really? That's cool. Anyways, number 28, Horizon. This is my only manhwa on this, and it's cursed. Really sad. It's a 9 out of 10, but because this whole story is good, but as of my favoritism, I just didn't really find that much to find it favorite. It's a good series. It's a good 21 chapters of the most cursed shit, but it's not worth being in. The same with a lot of 9 out of 10 series of mine. Then there's Spy Family. Wholesome, has its comedy aspects, and has basically an anime adaptation, and has basically become one of the most successful Jump titles. Then there's a Galaxy Next Door. It's wholesome, and it doesn't drag on with the romance aspect. I think by chapter 5, the two main people basically get together as a couple. So yeah, it's really wholesome, and I'll recommend it. I think it's also getting an anime adaptation in April. I could be wrong. And then there's The Girl from the Other Side. It's another really short series, and the ending is really cursed, but it's a generally wholesome series with a cursed ending. That's all I gotta say. Number 24 is Attack on Titan. I guess I just find a lot of other series just better than Attack on Titan. That's why I have it so low. Number 23, it's probably gonna be my most controversial opinion, is One Piece. I don't think One Piece is a peak series, and here's why. I just didn't get attached to the world. Well, not really. I would say a lot of arcs are kind of boring in my opinion. I didn't really enjoy Water 7 that much, and Marineford as well. I didn't really enjoy that much. I'd say my favorite arcs are generally the first two sagas. So anything from the East Blue Saga and the Alabasta Saga are probably my favorite. Everything else is either meh or bleh. I guess also more recently the Wano arc, Wano arc 3 was kind of cool. I just like the more goofy aspects about One Piece. When it got serious, I just resident sleeper basically. I just didn't really find that much enjoyment out of One Piece. I'll respect you if you think it's a peak series, but personally I don't think it's peak. For me, a peak series, it's something that just makes me love everything about it. I just found a lot of issues with One Piece. That's just my opinion. I guess it's also because of two other reasons other than the ones I just said. I guess it's because I kind of forced myself to read the manga. I forced myself to read from Jaya to the current manga that was at time, in like a month. So I kind of so it's a similar series to Vagabond, where I kind of forced myself to read it. And I was first a One Piece anime watcher. I watched East Blue and Alabasta anime up until then, and then around the time I was starting Jaya, I just kept getting spoiled after spoiled after spoiled, and I was like, fuck this. And I guess it kind of soured my mood about One Piece, and that's kind of the reason why I also started the manga. So yeah, that is basically my rant on why I didn't think One Piece was peak. Because it's kind of my own reasons, but you're allowed to have your own reasons for liking it. Anyways, 22 is Pokemon Adventures. I enjoyed it a lot. I actually own all the current manga for it, so... And it's, the more recent stuff is meh, but still good. The early Adventures is really good. That's all I gotta say. Number 21 and the final one on B tier is Pluto. This is probably my least favorite Naoki Urasawa series. I did enjoy it. I guess it's less memorable than the other two that I've read. So anyways, on to A tier. These are series I find amazing, but not my personal peak. Generally, it's a 9 out of 10. Can be below, but also can be higher. My throat is dying on me. Number 20 is going to be Death Note. It's the only 8 out of 10 on this. I did enjoy the manga when I was reading it. Ignoring the anime, I wasn't a big fan of the anime, but after reading the manga, I did start to enjoy it more. And the manga exclusive ending was a lot more better than the anime ending, in my opinion. So yeah. Number 19 is Slam Dunk, my favorite sports manga. It's a really fun series, and the ending is so memorable that even I still remember it to this day. And I would say it's a better version of Haikyuu. Yeah, fight me on that. Anyways, number 18 is Boys Runs the Riot. It's a really fun LGBTQ series, and it basically talks about LGBT issues, but also focuses on the main character's interests, which are artistry and stuff like that. I would recommend it. It's like 4 volumes long, and it's fun. Number 17 is Yu Yu Hakusho. It's another good shonen series. I prefer this over Hunter x Hunter. Anyways, number 16 is One Punch Man. It's a fun series. I actually own a lot of the manga now, and I'm actually caught up on it. So it's a really good series. The comedy is great. The art style of the manga, it's good. If you don't count the web series, so yeah. Number 15 is Heart Gear. Heart Gear is one of my biggest surprises of how much I loved it. The whole cyberpunk aesthetic is really cool, and the fact that the little girl there being the only human left. The whole premise is so cool, and I'm excited to see where it's going. I think it's currently going on another hiatus, so that's gonna be sad. But I still love it. It's a fun series. Number 14 is My Divorced Crybaby Neighbor. It's such a good series. Every time I read it, I just fucking smile. I can have the worst day possible and just start reading the newest chapter, and it immediately turns my frown into a smile. The third part of the series is coming eventually in 2023, and I'm excited for that. The first 2 parts are available to read on, I think, Comic-K if you want to read it. It's also the only doujin series. Well, not doujin as in hentai, but doujin as like self-published series to be on this list, and I fucking love it. The author also made another series that I haven't added onto my list yet, but I read it and it's so good. Yeah. Anyways, number 13 is Inuyashiki. This one is another banger. Basically, it deals with if 2 people got the same power from different backgrounds, how would they deal with it? And it's so good. I want to also read other stuff from the authors such as Gantz and Gigantz. So yeah. And it was 12 is going to be Made in Abyss. You might think I'm a pedophile for that, but no. I just generally enjoy the world building and, the whole story behind it. I would say my least favorite stuff is every time a child gets naked. Yeah, that's a bit too weird for me. But if a story has to express itself in the weirdest way possible, as long as it's a good series, then I don't really mind. Anyways, number 11, that is going to be Mashal. Mashal is such a fun series, and the fact that it's getting closer and closer to finishing, it's going to be sad. And reading the recent fight that is happening in the manga as of this recording, it's such a banger. Mashal starts out really funny, but eventually becomes more serious, and it's such an amazing series. The art style is also really good. Cracking number 10 is gonna be Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is dumb fun, and I've seen a lot of people say that, oh, the anime is so bad. Oh, the anime is so bad. There's nothing of substance. All the characters are bad. I would say it's because Mappa didn't really do it much justice. They only decided to adapt it for 12 episodes with no confirmation for a continuation yet, and that kind of kills it for me, because I wanted it to be 24. Because if we give it more time, then we would have seen stuff like the international Manhunt arc. I forgot the name of it, but the arc where a bunch of people from different nations comes to hunt for Denji, and then the Gun Devil arc. The moment those gets adapted, I hope people will see the greatness of Chainsaw Man. But as of now, I still enjoy Chainsaw Man. The manga is great. Part 2 has a slow start. It just focuses more on the politics, and I guess that's probably what I dislike most about the Chainsaw Man world. The politics. I don't really care about politics in anime or manga. I just care about the characters, and I also guess the fights. The fights were amazing as well, and the emotions that the later arcs of Chainsaw Man shows. Yeah. So far it's still pretty good. Number 9 is gonna be Hell's Paradise. I recently finished this, and it's so good. The ending still sticks with me, and the whole series as a whole, such a good series. Yuji Kaku, honestly, I know his new series Ashamon failed, but I honestly hope for the best for him. It's also getting an anime in April 2023, and I'm definitely gonna be watching it 100%. Number 8 is going to be Komi Can't Communicate. This was my favorite Slice of Life series, but it was recently outplaced by another one. The reason why it's ranked so low, usually I have it in my top 5. The reason why it's ranked so low is the recent arc isn't really that great, and the recent rival introduced, I'm like, what's the point of her? We know she's just going to lose anyways. But yeah, I still enjoyed the series. A lot of the early series is also really good. I would say the first 24 volumes is really good. It's a controversial opinion, but still I do enjoy the first 24 volumes. 24, 25-ish. This is my new favorite slice of life series, Yotsuba. I recently finished reading this, or caught up reading it. It's such a good series. In the beginning, I disliked Yotsuba a lot as a character, but over time she grew on me, and I understood, like, yeah, well, she's a 5-year-old. Of course she is, of course she's gonna be like that. So, yeah. Yotsuba is one of my favorite recent slice of life series that I've read, and I'm excited to see where the series goes. Apparently it has a horrible release schedule, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyways, number 6 is gonna be 20th Century Boy along with 21st Century Boy. I honestly enjoyed this. I also recently finished this, and I enjoyed it. 20th Century Boy is probably my second favorite Naosaki Urasawa series, and 21st Century Boy is one of my favorite conclusions of any series. It's probably my favorite ending of any series. And yeah, I'm glad I've read it. And yeah, the reason why it's number 6. And my second favorite is because the other series just sticks around more than I can remember. So yeah. As of now, it's number 6. And my final one for A tier is Goodnight Pun Pun. It's a 10 out of 10 because the story and everything about it is great. The reason why it's only ranked 5th as a 10 out of 10 is, well, I guess the other 4 series were just more likable to me, and I consider them more peak. But Pun Pun is still a good series. I'm not gonna lie about that. So now on to S tier, my personal peak series. They're either a really high 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And they're gonna give it a spoiler. Number 4 and number 3 are high 10 out of 10s, while number 2 and number 1 are 10 out of 10s. Oh god. Number 4, and my 4th favorite, is Monster. I watched the anime first, and then I read the manga more recently. It's so good. It also deals with the struggles of choices in life, and I fucking love it. If you haven't seen the anime, I recommend it. It's a proper adaptation. Might feel old, but still, it's still a good series. Number 3 is gonna be Dr. Stone. Well, a lot of people might be confused on why Dr. Stone is in my top 3, but it's because the anime is something that got me into like anime generally. So I guess the anime is a big help for that, but also I thought it was because it's nostalgia reasons that I really like Dr. Stone, but then I recently reread it, and I immediately just started fucking crying, because I remembered it was good, but not this good. So because Dr. Stone is the only series that can actually make me cry by just reading it, and not like for any reasons. Like, I don't think I was reading any emotional scenes. I think I was just reading it generally, and I just started crying. So because of that, I would say Dr. Stone is my 3rd favorite, because I can always go back to it and just enjoy it. It's a fun series, and if a series can make you cry by just reading it, then yeah, it's definitely a part of your favorites. Number 2 is gonna be Vinland Saga. As a Scandinavian myself, Vinland Saga is a really fun series to see about Vikings and stuff like that. Not only that, seeing in the future season 2 that we'll be getting in January, you'll see basically how the ending of season 1 affected Thorfinn for not only that season, but the rest of the series. I love Thorfinn's development, and he's easily one of my favorite characters. He's easily the biggest Chad ever. But not as big of as Chad as our number 1 main character, Berserk. Berserk deals with a lot of struggle, and yeah, reading it, you just fucking love it. It deals with a lot of struggle, and as much as Gutsman wants to give up, he just can't, because he knows the one day he just gives up is the day he's dead. And honestly, Guts as a character is just inspiration. It's inspiring, and Berserk has also inspired a lot of stuff. There's a lot of lack of words to say why I love Berserk, but I just really love Berserk. And yeah, that's about it for the video. Thank you everybody for an amazing year. It's been amazing. Sure, I haven't really uploaded that much for this channel. It's mainly because I haven't really had that much video ideas, but for 2023 I'll probably upload a lot more. And thank you for 200 subscribers. It's really appreciated. And yeah, I hope 2023 will bring us more interesting manga to read, and a lot more fun content ideas. I want to do more videos. Just if you have a video idea for me, then let me know. I actually want to take suggestions from you guys. Like, maybe you guys want to see me rank certain covers, or just talk about manga, maybe do some reviews. We'll just have to see. But yeah, until then, hope you guys enjoyed. Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2023. Bye bye.